Guitar Safari time. I have actually played this guitar before, so lo and behold, it took a long time. We go back to, when would that have been? 2008, something like that. I went into Guitar because I was going to buy myself a Gibson Les Paul, just because I was going to pay it up. And I went in and tried a couple of them. I think guitars changed a little bit. They had a lot of them at the time. I think they were 2,200 quid, something like that. And I went in and tried a couple, and it was like they had, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 standards on the wall, you know, sort of 3 or 4 of each colour. And I tried one of them, and it was like, it wasn't the best guitar I ever played. It wasn't even close. At this point I already had the Washburn Falcon, so I'm sitting there going, this is noticeably not as good as the Washburn Falcon at 2,200 quid. And then I think it was at the same time I tried the, which I think was current, so this would probably put the year on it. When did the BFG come out? The barely finished guitar. Because I tried that as well. That's the one, I was actually talking about this the other day in the car. I haven't put any of these videos out, so this might just be, it's just for my amusement in the car. So it was like the BFG was kind of, they hadn't finished, I think it was it could have stood for barely finished guitar, something like that, so that like it didn't have any varnish on it at all, I don't think. It had like a P90 with no cover in the neck, a burst bucker in the bridge, I think it had a knob missing. It didn't have a pickup selector. It was a bit wonky, and it didn't have like a truss rod cover, and it didn't have a cover for the back, or a perspex cover for the back with Les Paul. I think they were maybe about 700 quid. I remember nearly buying one 6 months later when it went down to 599. And I thought 599 is quite cheap for a Gibson Les Paul, but I didn't buy it. And since then, a Gary Moore got spotted in a shop playing it. So it was a while ago. And it became the Gary Moore version, even though Gary Moore literally just, you can see it in the video everyone was talking about, he's just literally in a guitar shop going, oh, what's that, that's new, that's cool, oh, cool. And that was kind of, wasn't really anything to do with him. But yes, so I've now got one. I remember nearly buying one before. It was on the south side, it was 400 quid for, I think it was just a brown Les Paul Studio, nothing particularly fancy. I kind of always expected I would end up with the burgundy one. There's a sort of wine red, I think it's called wine red, with gold hardware Les Paul Studio, which seems to be the most common one for a while. And saying that, I don't look up Les Pauls, so I haven't seen one for ages, but they seem to be quite common. And the one that I actually thought I would want ultimately would be the one that matches my, I've only ever seen 1 or 2 of them, again I've not been looking for them, but my Ferrari Red SG, there is a Les Paul that's Ferrari Red as well with the ebony fingerboard. I'd probably rather have that one, but as I said, so that one that I saw on the south side for 400 quid, I remember I was working in Bridgeweir at the time, and I was like, 400 quid for, seems awfully good, so I phoned up the guy. I think it was actually, it was a phone call, so it must have been country. And the guy's like, oh yeah, I still got the Les Paul, yeah. There's a guy driving down from Fife just now. He called maybe an hour ago, so he's probably not going to be here for another half hour or something. If you can get here first, it's yours. And I was just like, so some guy driven for 2 hours to come and get the guitar, and you're telling people, oh, if you can get here first, you can have it. Imagine the joy of that, going on a guitar safari. When you go on a guitar safari for a couple hours to go and get a Les Paul, and you get to the door and the guy's like, up here, oh no, sorry, I just sold it, bye. Slams the door in your face. Like that. I thankfully don't get to meet many folk like that. I'm I'm buying this Les Paul off my pal, so if I know him, there's no problem, no possibility of meeting up with an arsehole. Yeah, and then I remember again another Les Paul which I was kind of looking at. It was an LPJ, which was not a Les Paul Junior, even though it was called an LPJ. I think it was an SGJ as well, which was kind of the same sort of thing again, like how cheaply can we make a Les Paul when it still is a Les Paul? So I think you kind of, it did have the proper 498 pickups in it with black covers that made them look like EMGs, but it was the proper pickups, and I think instead of painting it, they'd kind of taken sort of some cherry red, like Ribena or something like that, you know, like a very thin, watered down thing, and then kind of poured it on the guitar, so it was like sort of red, but not finished in any way. And I sold an amp to a wee guy, and he said, I just got a Gibson Les Paul, 350 quid, and I was like, 350, that's the cheapest I've ever seen a Les Paul. He wasn't selling it, but it was fucking sounded great to the wee Fender amp. So I was like up here, cheap crappy Gibson Les Paul, and I was, I don't like the expensive ones. Yeah, so I'm not really like the cheap ones. I did actually quite like it. I thought it was one of the best Les Pauls I've played. Partly, I think my main problem with Les Pauls is the price of them. It's like I just sit there and go, this is not a £2,000. How you get to a £2,000 guitar? I mean, even I've got a couple of them now. Didn't pay that for. I think the Corker's probably that, and it is nice having the fancy stuff on it, but not really. Aye, so this one I've actually played before. Have I talked about it yet? No, so when I went in and tried it, I was going to buy that the Gibson Les Paul, and decided that I couldn't understand somebody paying £2,500 for the standard. You know, it just looked like Jimmy Page's, and to be honest, on the wall they had more than 10. You know, so it's like, oh, that one. So there was no, oh, maybe I'll if I don't buy it just now, maybe it'll be sold next week. There was none of that. It was basically they did so many of them, and it just had no exclusivity to it. So I decided that rather than spend £2,200 on a Gibson Les Paul and pay it up, I would instead spend £2,200 over the next couple of years buying guitars I wanted. So maybe got 10, something like that. So I didn't pay it up, but I bought one at a time over the following couple of years, and I did better. That's why I've got all those silly guitars. This was also around about the time I started fixing them, so it became this isn't really my money. You know, buy two guitars, like a West Tone and a Squire Strat, fix them both up, keep the West Tone, sell the Squire Strat, end up making, you know, 50 quid or something like that, and getting a free West Tone. Just repeat that many times, a lot of times, buying batches, not expensively, but maybe buying batches of 3 guitars, or, you know, 2 or 3 guitars or 4 guitars for, like, you know, like £100 for the 4 of them, kind of thing. That sort of region, and then just wheeling and dealing my way out of it. So this guitar I've actually got to, you go 8.5 minutes in, I'm actually going to tell you what guitar it is I bought. I bought a 50s Tribute Les Paul from 2013, I think it is. I think it's the year that had the robot tuners, but it doesn't have the robot tuners. Although I'm not sure it would have changed them if it had had them. It would have been quite a cheesy thing to have. So 50s Tribute, I did do a video of it, and I watched my video of it. To be honest, I don't really remember it. All I can really remember about it is it had I fitted a Les Trem, or the Duesenberg Bigsby type thing that fits onto the string posts, and I didn't like that. And it was also, I didn't like the fact it was a sort of glossy jet black, but I think it was meant to be like that. I don't think it had been hand painted, but it looked like someone had just got hammerite and painted it. Sort of no finish as such, more just like a paint without a clear coat kind of looking thing. So that this one has been, the bits have been taken off at the expensive bits, that tremolo thing and the string butler, and it might have been some locking tuners and shit like that on it. So he's given it to me with all the original parts, so 2 P90s. Yeah, that's kind of it. But he sanded it down, so it's bare wood, which is not ideal, but I do have a sort of game plan. The game plan is I'm going to go and get it. I'm going to stick it together. I might have a wee look to see how finely sanded it is. Might give it a wee bit more of a, I guess not any point, is there? I might give it 5 minutes with some fine sandpaper just to get it super smooth, and then assemble it, which won't take long. It's actually got the PCB, and I wonder if I'll actually enjoy installing the PCB. He said something about the switch. All I've got to do is wire in the switch, but the rest of it's just that PCB thing, which that's fine. I think the actual pots are alright. I would rather it was hardwired, but I can do that later if I really wanted to. If somebody maybe wanted to buy the PCB, I don't know. Yeah, so just basically assemble it and then enjoy having my first ever Les Paul. I have had like cheapy ones. It even comes down to, have I ever owned? I've never had a Les Paul as my guitar. I don't think. I did have that Garant, but it was like it cost a tenner. You know, there are things that I'm not counting. But it was never one of my guitars. I've had a few that have, you know, like bucket castered or put funny pickups in and sold them on and doing all that stuff. But they're not guitars that I bought for me. I've never bought any sort of Les Paul for me. Unless you're going to class the Washburn Wings as Les Pauls, which they kind of sort of are, but they're not. They're a double cutaway. So they're a double cut Les Pauls. But yeah, imagine joining the Les Paul club. Maybe I'll like it. Don't know. Don't need it. So I'm just going to assemble it the way it is, and then the choices are, this guy was going to paint it Sherwood green. He's given me 3 cans of Sherwood Nitro. If I was going to paint a Les Paul, I would have a tendency to paint it a colour that no one else would, just because it's different. I have a thing for yellow guitars. A yellow Les Paul would be quite interesting. P90s. P90s are black, I think, but obviously my covers for them, I really wanted to. But a yellow, possible. So thinking possibly just painting the whole thing yellow. The back of the neck's all sanded as well, so I need to do that a lot. I don't fancy the Sherwood green thing. I think will be the limited edition bucket casters in Sherwood green, because I don't really want a dark green guitar. I want a yellow one. And obviously been talking to Jen about it, who was no help in my not buying a guitar. I don't want to buy this guitar, it's not too good a deal. Just buy it. You're meant to drop me out of this. Don't want it. And just like, you know, maybe I don't know, she doesn't like Les Pauls either, but just like, maybe I can paint it. So if I get on well with it and I really want to keep it and I really like it, I might paint it yellow, or I might paint it yellow and then get Jen to J-Pax the top of it. She's just done a P-bass yellow and kind of blue and shit on it, and it looks fucking brilliant. It's like the best looking P-bass I've ever seen. Unfortunately, I managed to build it up yesterday when I was over at her house, so I don't get to take it away and do a video on it. But the yellow P-bass looks phenomenal. It's totally something, if I didn't know Jen, I would buy that and probably reshape the headstock or put a Fender neck on it or something. But I mean, a good looking, it just looks fantastic. It's a great bass actually. I actually did a wee video on my phone, just a quick, so how many guitars there are kicking about. She must have 20 ready to go for sale. They're selling, she sold 6 last week, I think, something like that. I think this time of year is going to be they're all going to America as well, so she's not charging enough money. I think the problem is there's an element of to be good, it's got to be expensive, so people are getting scared off them. And the guitars are not cheap. When you are buying a guitar, it would be, well, no, they're worked on and stuff, so Squire Strat, you know, set up, working well, all new, 150 quid maybe, sort of thing, to buy, but with the artwork on it, which does take, you know, factory finished guitar. But I don't think they're meant to. It's a painting you're buying. You're not buying, you know. And it's like this one. Can you do one like that? And it's like, no, they all come out completely differently. I don't know how much longer she could keep doing it without. I mean, she just started an entirely new range of them, and I'm just getting blown away by that she's still doing it. When I did it at the start, I get that, you know, the first ones they were called graffiti casters because they were done with, you know, they had graffiti on them. You know, like my 1 and 3 or like that, and then it was like I gave her my wee red Washburn Raven, and I was like, oh, but I don't know, you paint the neck, the red neck, the red headstock. I was like, because I've got 2 Ravens, and the other one doesn't have a Washburn logo on it because it's been sanded. I wanted to keep the red neck, so she was like, fucking out. So she used the red to mix in with it, and that's which is like one of the best ones. I don't even know what you would call that, like a sort of leafy thing. And then there's ones that look like cityscapes. I don't know. They're totally evolving. I think it would be amazing to see. Just talking about doing a coffee table book, but it'd be amazing to see them from the first one going through, because I mean I have seen all these guitars come from nothing in the last, it's only 6 months, I guess June or something like that, and you know, I have seen 80 of the most interesting guitars I've ever seen in the last 6 months. Just, oh fuck's sake, how do you get one like that? You know, there's some oddities in there, but a lot of really mad looking stuff. If you're wearing my John Michael biscuit jumper, getting into the art thing. So I mean, where are these guitars going to go? She's touching a lot of scratch plates just now, which I think is a good buy. A good plan at like $100 or something like that, and you get like a. So it means you can put it on whatever guitar you want, and it doesn't damage the value of your £5,000 Fender or something like that. It makes it so much more interesting. I don't think that the scratch plates work so well on coloured guitars per se. Well, it depends what colour it is, but see, like on a black Strat, a cool scratch plate just looks cool. I do like a white Strat with a white scratch plate, so yeah, they look pretty fucking cool on a white one as well. But I think the scratch plates are, they're so much easier to do. I think just done another new design. I don't even know what you call it. Sort of white type thing. Did a scratch plate for that yesterday, and it was like, oh, I found a new thing. I was like, oh, that's totally, I could never see one that looked like that. That's mental. And then last night she did a guitar as well. She sent me a picture this morning of the. Sorry, that van behind me just flashed. I don't know why. Yes, of this new design with the matching scratch plate. I was like, just for a wee laugh, could you put lay just a plain white scratch plate on that? I was thinking it was looking a wee bit busy. Now you put it on, she's like, oh, they look quite good. Maybe I could sell the scratch plate separately, and it's like suddenly you go, alright, hold on here. Let's be brutal here. If you're selling a guitar with a plain white scratch plate, and then you sell the scratch plate, you get $100 more for the guitar because you're selling the scratch plate separately. So sometimes, I don't know, it depends on which guitar. Sometimes the chaos just totally works, and other times it's quite nice to get, something very plain. I mean, my number one is just it's just a white scratch plate with white pickups, and I just think it looks brilliant like that. It's totally, I never really envisaged the whole painting that came later. All these mad things. There was even a time when we tried to put Perspex scratch plates on so you didn't have to paint them, but it just doesn't. The Perspex is horrible to work with, just brittle. People don't understand how roundabouts work. Just sitting there waiting for him, and he was just like, oh, and then I started going, and he pulled out. Ah, right, great. Arsehole. So the excitement of the J-Pack scenes. be more. I mean, every week or every couple of weeks, it's like, fuck's sake, that doesn't look like any of the other ones. Sometimes there's a sort, they come in waves a little bit. You know, you'll get 3 guitars that have a similar thing, but different variations of a similar thing. And then the next week, or the next couple of weeks, they roll again like that. I think quite a lot of it's kind of to do with things like temperature and weather affect things as well. And it also affects what kind of guitar it is to start with. And it's like, you know, what can you pick? It's like, she's still got some guitars left, probably not that many, maybe about 10 still to go. But we've been frittering through them. A lot of them are just Strats. Why is my back clutch is sticking? I'm not happy about that at all. And Strats are fine, they're great, they're nice and easy to work with and stuff, but another Strat, you know, so I think we're now down to, I think there's there's a Les Paul body and a Les Paul, there's half a dozen Strats anyway. I think there's a PRS actually, she painted that yet? There's a Westfield PRS copy. It's just a case of finding them. She's like, I'm looking for sort of more oddball shapes and stuff, and it's just there really aren't any. Guitars are so boring, and that's why I just see these JPEG things going mental. It's just, as soon as people start buying them, you know, it's going to be a roller coaster ride. The thing is, I can envisage me and Jen still making it the same, you know, in a couple of years' time when we're making, we've got a company that's fucking churning them out. We were still sitting there fucking with a hammer, you know, sitting in the rain, battering away at things, doing silly things. You know, we were talking about last night, it's like, doing the scratch plates things is great, and selling the bodies is great, yeah, totally, but you don't get the satisfaction of actually assembling it. That's what I find, see, when I'm building guitars, one of the reasons why all the Bucky casters have stupid pickups and stuff in them is I wanted to play the guitar, which gave me a wee oomph, or like, you know, putting in, oh, I wonder what the turbo lover, I want to know what this sounds like, and I've got the opportunity, so, you know, that was why I was doing it. As opposed to just doing it for, you know, churning them out. The same thing I was talking to him. Oh, I forgot to tell Chris. I meant to text and say I was on my way. I don't think I'm that different. Okay, where's here? Les Paul on the way. Hey YouTube, I'm Mad Malko, Gibson Les Paul owner. Maybe you actually look at it. He was showing me his new SG. It's actually quite nice, his new SG. Quite bright and airy. I do like it, SG. Maybe part of that's why my dislike for the Les Paul came from it. Because I just thought SGs were cooler and also significantly cheaper. But it's one of those ones where it's like, it's not, I don't know, cheaper to make, therefore, but does it make it not as good a guitar? I think I've probably worked out that more of my people I like playing Guitar Heroes play SGs than play Les Pauls. I think ultimately it doesn't really matter. You can play anything. So I mean, this thing, I mean, yes, I've got other guitars to work to do, but I know that Les Paul's getting rammed together as soon as I get in the door, really, isn't it? Fucking clutch. I hope I don't need a clutch for my MOT this year. That's the first time I've ever noticed it sticking. It could just be something spilt in the carpet or something like that, but it's just like something worrying. I've had bad clutches before. pushing it into the floor every time you change gear. Totally don't need to. I think literally what it is just dirt on the bottom of the pedal, so when I push the clutch into the floor it's kind of sticking to it. I'm too used to, ever since I had the Land Rover, just pure decking the clutch always. How far in you put in the clutch? As far as it goes. No matter where the biting point is. I don't think, if the clutch was gone, you'd be pushing it into the floor and it wouldn't quite be at the biting point, but it's clearly halfway down. It's off, on, however, you know what I mean. So it looks like I might have got a few wee bargain things inside the bag of bits for this. Got some extra bits. It's got white, ice white P90 pickup covers. I was like, what the fuck's that thing? It looks like a T-tuner. It was like, no, it's one of the things for Floyd Roses. So I've actually got one of those things that you're meant, you know, the actual tool for setting intonation on a Floyd Rose. I've never had one of them before. I've just always set it just by fidgeting with it and Allen keys, but now I've got the actual Floyd Rose fixing tool. That might be an interesting one. There's a couple extra sets of tuners and just basically bits and bobs in a bag. Yeah, so Les Paul. I'll probably be getting the black pickup covers on it for now, but it's nice having the option. I'm pretty sure I've actually got cream, or those horrible cream covered ones in my parts box. But the white could be interesting. The white could actually be quite good for painting, maybe. Just put painting pickups on it. Oh well, yeah, I don't know. I got Jen to paint some Les Paul scratch plates because I had a few. Because how much I charge for that? Do you feel pretty guilty about it? So that what's happened is because the scratch plate's only just a wee triangular thing that size, she's used a very fine, so they're very detailed. It's kind of like, looks like you've zoomed in on it. But still, get your Les Paul, we want it. Don't want to go for the full extent of a paint job. But I'm still thinking yellow Les Paul. That might not be very easy to sell. It's one of those things you start wondering. I mean, I was just looking at it, the price I paid for it, it's like, well, J-Pack's up, it's got to be worth, it's a Les Paul for fuck's sake, it's got to be worth $1,000 or something more than that, isn't it? Maybe, sort of, could be. The thing is, I suppose that the main difference between like the tribute guitar and the standard is paint, really. So if I put a matte finish on it, I don't know how different would the guitar actually be if I had taken, you know, like a studio or a standard, sanded it down and then painted it J-Packs. How different a guitar would that be from this one I've got here? I don't think it would be very different. No binding, I think, is about it. Really, I think it's got a rosewood fingerboard, which would be nice. I don't think Gibson ever went for, you know, that whatever that stuff's called that doesn't look shite. You get on some modern guitars. Not what's the one with the FGN? Grenadillo. It looks fine. I'm not a super fan of it. I quite like the words. It's fun to say. It's like half grenade, half armadillo. I like it's fine. But you get ones like Jackson, the cheaper Jackson guitars I've got. A sort of wood that's it just feels shit. It kind of almost looks like plywood on its edge. It's not, but it's like, you know, just a very grained, darkish sort of wood. I don't like that. Might be Pau Ferro. Remember there was a Pau Ferro face. Everyone using that. It's just an ugly looking wood. It maybe work okay on something like the Cork, which is already crazy, mad shades of wood, but it just looks wrong on a Strat. Or it just looks wrong on a coloured guitar, I think. Probably looks okay on a excited having a Gibson Les Paul. I'll probably video me assembling it. How long do you reckon that'll take? 15 minutes? Something like that. Quick set of strings on it. Bish bash bosh. Might just make this today's video. I can't be bothered. It's 3:30. Or maybe the video will just be me assembling the Les Paul. So there you go. Of all the mad guitars I've bought this year, you know I love my extreme shapes, things that are really out of the box thinking. So, 2 Ibanez RGs, a Gibson Les Paul, the Tempest Strat, and a Telecaster Custom. Yep. So the most uninteresting 6 guitars I've bought in a row. Obviously the Corker. Didn't technically buy that though. I think they did okay out of it. I don't really know what they were expecting to do at that shop. I was just fucking working in the shop basically. Then I sold the guitar. And I managed to get rid of some people and I was nice to people. Stuff. Just enjoyed it. It's difficult to. The Corker's just kind of like one of those ones you can't really. It doesn't really sit on. It's not a level playing field with it. It's just like it's ridiculous. But I hope it's going to have to stay. It's going to stay as my guitar. It's like it's very cool and I love it, but it's also in practical terms very good. I'm totally winning towards the 6-way switch. I like it. I'm finding I'm using both the middle positions a lot. Maybe I would. I don't know if I would. I don't know. I don't think this switch was that, because I looked up how much the switch was, thinking it was going to be, you know, if that's 100 quid, I'm taking it out and selling it. But I think they're about 50 quid, something like that, which is not. I don't know how much is a Gibson toggle switch cost, 15, 20, something like that. So getting 50 quid for the 6 position one's not really that bad. But I was looking at it thinking, well, it was worth that. New, mine's second hand, 30 quid. Plus I've got to buy another toggle switch, a tenner. Nah, I'll just keep the 6-way. It's good fun too. It's one of those. I get the whole concept of showing your pals that. There's a lot of guitar things like that. Doing a bit of that with the Corker, obviously. Anyone who's ever had the misfortune to come out of my house to get shown the Corker. Look at that, look at this bit, look at that bit. Just because it's interesting, it's nice having these things that make a different, well, make a very different little difference how the guitar sounds. Or plays, really. There'll be things like, oh, look at the switch, there you go. So I do get it. And because the Corker is, I'm going to say Fendery, sort of. I think it suits, the single coil sounds are just more what the guitar naturally is, because it's like a Fender scale and a sort of stratty neck that makes it just feel, it's nice having a humbucker or something, but I do think of it as more of a single coily guitar, so you can feel the tone, you know. That distortion hides the tone. You want crystal cleans. Tone enhancers. I've now got such a paranoia about my clutch. That every time I'm pushing it in, go, oh please come back up, oh, I don't want to have to try and pull it up. I did have to drive home one time in the last Panda from Bridge of Weir across the Kingston Bridge with second gear. There was all I had. The clutch didn't work at all, so I could kind of get it rolling up to a point and it just pure force into second gear, and it was like that. It was was flooding in the clean. No, it was horrible. It was horrible. I didn't have a clutch, so I could only go as slow as it could go in second gear, or as fast as it could go. Oh God, it was awful. It was a terrible ride home. Managed it though. So, it's coming up to Panda time of year again. I don't know. I don't really. I kind of like the car. It's now old though. Just thinking about it, I've been driving Pandas now for years, and they were quite current now. You don't see many Pandas now. They must all just be disintegrating. I think the axles have gone on them. I'd really like if you were to say, what kind of car would I want? So I don't even know. The reason I bought another Panda was because the one I had new tyres on it. The engine blew up. It turned out the tyres didn't fit this, but I did steal lots of interesting bits. Saved a couple £100 on bits by like windscreen wiper motors and wee stupid all your door handles and shit like that I stole off the last car because they were missing in this one. Similar sort of idea with guitars. So if I buy a guitar that's missing a saddle or missing some screws, I've got them. I did have that car sitting in my drive for nearly 2 years, all of lockdown, just slowly rusting away. I'd love to get a cheap MOT this year. Last year it was £700. I'd like a cheap MOT would be nice. Whether it gets it or not. Hey, Panda. The thing about cars is kind of ridiculous. Just look at how much. They're expensive, but they're not that expensive when you start looking at guitars. I've got guitars that are worth more than this. Probably very nearly got that Les Paul's probably very nearly worth the same as this car. You can't. All you can do with the guitar is play. You can't drive it. Anyway, wasn't that an interesting video? Rock on.